Would it be a hot take to say that the burrito is out and shawarma is in? There's something missing in the world, and that is knowing and having the ability to make an incredible shawarma at home. We don't have a big trompo to slice our shawarma on, so what is the alternative? How can we make it as good as possible? The crispy, crunchy exterior, the beautiful, perfect garlic sauce, and I'm talking perfect. And then I realized, wait a minute, I know people who can help me figure this out. This is Chef Yaz from Mia Mia Shawarma. It is the best shawarma I've had in the United States. And they're not doing anything new. They're just doing it the right way. So let's make it, shall we? We're gonna start by mixing our spices and blending our marinade. Then we'll thinly slice and marinate our chicken. We'll whip up a simple creamy garlic sauce. And then of course, assemble everything beautifully. We're making the marinade for the chicken.
You can buy dry spices from the store. Sure, they're gonna be solid, but when you put the spices into a spice grinder, when you go into the marinade, it's gonna give you the purest, most concentrated form of those spices. That's the goal there.
So we have white peppercorn here. One of my favorite spices. I've always felt like this smells like a hot breath, like a stinky hot breath.
Honestly, yeah. So we'll get that into the spice grinder. Yeah, so just let it do its thing, get real nice and fine. Smell like hot breath? It's like, see now.
Oh, it smells a lot better now.
So now it's that it's fresh grind, you know?
Yeah, oh my God, it smells so fragrant, it's crazy. It's almost sweet.
It doesn't even smell like hot breath. Like, I would kiss this pepper now. So now that we have all of our fresh ground spices, we can start mixing them all together.
Teaspoon of white pepper.
White pepper.
Teaspoon of coriander. 1 teaspoon of green cardamom. Teaspoon of curry.
The one that I use is from Jordan, to be honest with you, and it comes from a spice shop that I like. But we did use a local.
This guy. Fancy ass.
Look, man, if you're gonna do shawarma and you want to claim that it's authentic, you gotta get everything from the source. What I do is I have my spice shop over there. They take all the spices, they grind them and send them to me.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so teaspoon of chicken bouillon, love.
Oh yeah, that's cloves.
Oh my God, the cloves. 1 teaspoon of ground cloves.
It's a good amount of cloves, but see what we're doing here is we're taking some bitter spices, we're taking some stuff like curry, chicken bouillon to kind of tone it down.
Half teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of ground thyme, half a teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of Aleppo pepper powder. Nutmeg, I'm assuming just like a touch.
Kind of just eyeball it. I'll tell you when to stop. Honestly, that's pretty damn good right there. Your nutmeg is very strong.
So it's 2.5 tablespoons, appropriate amount of salt.
It's just a great accessible list of spices that you could definitely find at your local grocery store and put together at home. Spice mix, we can put that to the side for now.
Now we'll need to grab a blender for our wet ingredients, which are the zest of 2 lemons, the juice of 5, and the zest and juice of 1 orange. Grab your microplane, we'll zest together. This is my preferred technique.
I'm not gonna be as swaggy as him right now.
Here, try it.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, okay, so starting with your elbows like this, you're gonna kind of close your elbows while dragging.
It's like we're bowing.
You're bowing to the lemon, bowing to the citrus, praying to the gods. You get all the zest. Almost done with this orange.
That's actually really neat. You see that?
All right, so that goes in.
So I like the mixture of lemon and orange. Really, it's kind of nostalgic because anytime my dad would make barbecue chicken at home, he would use Arab spices as well, or Middle Eastern spices. When he first came to America, he worked at El Pollo Loco, and they used a lot of orange in their chicken. So anytime he would make chicken at home, it would always be orange.
More lemons.
A lot of citrus. Citrus is obviously gonna break down the chicken, make it extremely tender, but also we like the bitter tartness.
So while he's juicing that, 1.5 tablespoons of shatta or chili paste.
We just found a very local, common brand that you can find at almost any Middle Eastern store. So I would go with shatta. A lot of people still do use tomato paste. You could use both if you like.
2 tablespoons of yogurt also. 1 teaspoon of white distilled vinegar, and 4 cloves of garlic.
A lot of garlic gonna be used in this recipe. If you don't like garlic, you should not be eating any shawarma, I'll tell you that.
Okay, so all the spices we made earlier are gonna go in here. So that goes on, and then blend on high until smooth as possible?
Yeah, probably a good minute of blending max. We're not really blending too much down. We just want the garlic to break down a little bit and the spices to all mix together.
Oh yeah.
A lot of bitter, a lot of acid, a lot of citrus, sweet, harsh, bitter, but here we are, let's see. I'll tell you guys right now.
It's super acidic, but it's not just acid though. The seasoning, the salt levels are there, so it's perfectly balanced.
That's fire. Yeah. And you gotta taste your marinade before you put it on the chicken, by the way, guys. You can't just take any guesses, but this right here is it.
Chicken time.
Yeah, so for the chicken, we're starting off with some chicken thighs.
4 pounds of boneless skin-on chicken thighs.
If you guys would like, you could always go a mixture of breast and thigh as well, but for this recipe, we're going 100% thigh here, and I think that's the way to go. And we're gonna yank off the skin right over here, Josh. We're gonna save these skins for later. We left these in the freezer for a good half hour to be able to get some more simple, precise cuts. If you guys don't have a knife that's half as sharp as Josh's, this will just be very easy to cut at home. But I'm kind of picky about these little pieces of fat. I like to clean up the entire piece of chicken just so that everything's consistent, no chewy bits. Honestly, I would clean them to the T, to where when we slice this chicken thigh up, it's gonna almost look like sashimi in a sense.
Wow, okay, so you want all the fat off.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
Fair play.
Trust me. We'll be all right. Okay, so now we'll start with the frozen one. Our goal here is just very ultra thin shavings. This is pretty good right here, but I think we can go for something a little thinner than that. You want a little bit of texture, obviously, because like you don't want it to have zero integrity. Once it goes through the marinade and you're pulling it out, it might all just fall apart or whatnot. But I would say like strips like these are pretty realistic for everyone at home. Like these are pretty damn good right over there.
So you want these around 1/4 inch thick?
It's gonna be nice to have some that are thinner than others because they're gonna end up being crispier. And I feel like it's nice to have some contrast as well, with like some less seared pieces.
Start with the one that's not frozen and see if it's any harder.
It's not impossible, but when I was doing it, I feel like you're just kind of tugging a little bit more. With the frozen ones, you can just kind of slice through. So we got all of our chicken skins. These are gonna come in handy later.
And then our leftover fat that we trimmed off. You can save this and probably freeze it and then just keep adding onto it over time. And then if you want, you can render it out. You have chicken fat to use.
We got everything ready to go. Let's get this marinade mixed in. Start with half. Okay. You can pour some onto the skin as well.
I'll go with half of the half and then we'll pause and see if we need more. You can always add more. You can't really take away, honestly. And we're gonna cover this, put this in the fridge for minimum a day, ideally 2 days for maximum penetration.
Maximum penetration. Like I wouldn't say overnight penetration is enough. Like you're gonna need a few more rounds of marination.
So you've made a shawarma innovation for the home cooks, the people at home.
They need it.
To try to recreate the textures, the flavors that are in a proper shawarma.
This was the game changer for me. And it mimics those thin, crispy ribbons that we get from the sikh at Mia Mia. All we have here is chicken skin that's marinated in the same exact spices and marinade that we used earlier for the actual chicken, just so obviously the flavors are consistent. But anyway, we can start out with something like this right here. For example, just lay it down. Nice and flat. So again, we're going skinless on the actual chicken itself, but on the back end, you're still gonna get some skin with these little chicken crisps. Literally like shawarma chips. Get another, I wouldn't even dab them, I'd literally press them. But yeah, your goal here is to pretty much get off any excess moisture. Yeah, we can just peel this off right now. You can pick up a piece of skin, and if you see any excess moisture, you can always dab it off with a paper towel. But I mean, if you look at this, it's pretty dry. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna start with a cold pan here. We're laying down a couple of the chicken skins.
This is a 12-inch non-stick skillet, medium low.
Most importantly, let's keep them compressed.
So we're using these chef's press, but I should note, you can use other things. Like you take a pan, you're gonna have to do that.
Okay, so we're gonna let these do their thing. Probably gonna take around like 10 minutes or so.
Can I make a suggestion that would be way faster than this?
Let's go.
I could get all of them done at once with this technique. You take a sheet tray, you'll spray it, you'll place parchment down on one layer, and you're gonna lay your skins out on that sheet tray. Spray these pretty aggressively. Another layer, you have to adhere the layer. You can do this up to 3 total layers. After you've done the 3 total layers, you take another sheet tray, put it on top, and then you throw this in the oven at around 370 degrees Fahrenheit and just let it rip for 10, 15 minutes. So you can do this in the pan, but you could also do it in an oven. So if you don't have an oven, your decision's made, sweetheart.
Chicken skin's gonna take a little while, so I say we just get the chicken searing. Medium high.
Okay, so beef tallow, you want just even
Coat
coverage?
the pan, I don't want it to be swimming in tallow though. Like if we need to add more as it's going, we can. We just want enough of a tallow to coat the pan so nothing sticks too much. Get a good sear. Put aside some pieces here. This is almost like Michelin star in terms of the attention to detail it's gonna take here.
So once you get a little Maillard on your pieces, you can start flipping them over.
Yeah, it's coming together now.
Nice little color. We got the spices are toasting on there. The chicken's getting a Maillard.
Smells incredible, honestly.
These are so small, I really think it's like a minute to a minute and a half per side, and they're done. All right, chicken's done. You can sear your chicken back to back to back until your chicken's seared. Put them on a finishing tray like this.
Yep.
And maybe if they need to, tent it with foil. They could keep it warm somewhere. Just be careful not to let them overcook. So good.
Now we're gonna get to the garlic sauce.
I have my own premonitions on what I think a garlic sauce is meant to be made, and I've always been like, oh, keep it simple. Garlic, salt, oil, nothing else. But you have a few extra pieces here.
A lot of my Lebanese friends and their uncles and grandfathers are always like, Yazid, this is not the Lebanese way. But I feel like garlic sauce and many other condiments have evolved. For me, I always like a sauce that's a bit more creamy, not too overpowering. Like when I eat garlic sauce, as a kid, my mom and my dad, we would always go to these Lebanese restaurants, and I'd always dip the chicken kebab in the garlic sauce. And I loved it, it tastes amazing, but I'd be burping it up for like the next day or so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pretty much we came up with a garlic sauce that's more creamy and a bit more forgiving as well. Not too garlicky, but it's gonna hit. One of the keys to this ingredient are these egg whites. We're gonna blend this down with the garlic just to ensure that not only is it homogenized, but the texture, again, it's gonna be smooth through and through the sauce. We have 3 egg whites going in, by the way, guys. 3/4 cup of garlic right over here. With this right here, I'd go ultra high setting. Yeah, that should be all right.
So it immediately like froths up basically. It's like a little miniature meringue and then everything.
If we drank this right now, you wouldn't get any chunks of the garlic, and that's the key here.
Yeah, drinking this would be crazy.
Let's
That's
do
not
it.
happening. We swapped to another device. Now we're on to a food processor, essentially.
The reason why we're using a food processor is because I've tested this sauce all in a blender before and it can get caught up. And what you don't want is for the sauce to overheat, from the blender. So using a food processor would just allow it to emulsify a lot smoother and not break. So we got 2.5 teaspoons of salt and then 3.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. Freshly squeezed, not the stuff from the store. So you got your oil over here. What I recommend is to use this funnel.
1 to 1.5 cups or 360 milliliters of neutral oil.
I recommend using like a refined avocado or an olive oil. And the key here, Josh, you have to get the lightest stream. Honestly, that's perfect. And just let that keep doing its thing until you see the sauce start to emulsify. It's gonna be like very thick, very creamy. Yeah, let's take a look at this.
Beautiful.
We use like about 90% of the oil. You kept the stream in check, bro.
It looks quite nice.
Right out the blender, it's gonna hit you a little bit harder than, for example, the next day. Like the garlic's gonna be a little...
You're too used to marketing white people, man. I think it's great.
Oh, it's fire. As you can see, it's creamy.
Wow.
It's not like a paste, it truly is a sauce. That lemon is coming through, everything's coming through, it tastes rich.
The egg white.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
Not only is it a base, but it adds this richness to the sauce that really makes it all come together.
This is the smoothest garlic sauce I've ever seen made.
Other than the Mia Mia one, let's go. You could just use any Middle Eastern store-bought pickles if you want to go with more of like a traditional sort of taste. This is just a baby dill that we put together. I'll just cut off both ends here. Kind of want to go with like 2 even little pieces right over here, and very simple, just get these thin strips that are kind of like sprouty. Keep them consistent in shape, size, because we want every single bite to be very proportionate and consistent.
You're going for more of almost like a plank.
Like I would say this is the perfect pickle. But just play it by eye. If you cut them up and you don't have enough, cut some more. No, I want every single bite to, give you that pickle crisp because it is a very rich, savory wrap. 6 or 7 of these little spears is gonna be perfect, but... All right, Josh.
Time to make the shawarma. So you'll lay down your bread. That'll either be sage or shrock. If you don't have that, worst case scenario, you can use pita. Do not use tortilla, please. Smear generously with garlic sauce. Spread evenly with a light layer of shatta. Drizzle with pomegranate molasses. Lay down some pickles to evenly cover. Pile up your chicken. Crumble up your chicken skin on top. This is important that you don't go too fine with the chicken skin. You want little bits and flakes of chicken skin. Tightly wrap that up all the way until closed. Lightly dip in your chicken juice. And if you have a vertical rotisserie, which assuming many of you don't, but if you do, give it a little grill. Then sear in a large frying pan with beef tallow until golden on both sides, about 1 to 2 minutes per side. Wrap that up in something to hold it all together. It could be parchment paper, foil, butcher paper, whatever you want. This is the important part. We talk about crowning our king, and we're gonna crown this motherfucker. Top with a dollop of garlic sauce, a sliver of your crispy chicken skin, and finally, a light drizzle of your pomegranate molasses. This is the tarbouche. We finally made it, a beautiful shawarma. It's got the crown.
Tarbouche.
I mean, listen, you hear that?
I'm a little eager to find out how we did. I'm usually, like I said, not an advocate for making shawarma at home, but this looks like it literally damn near came out of Mia Mia. Let's go for the whole thing.
Oh! Damn, that went deep. That was like a flashbang grenade going off in my ear. The crunch was so loud. It's so good. Look at that.
Even if you look inside, the pieces look kind of thin.
And it's juicy, look at that.
But those chicken crisps really come through as well. That honestly really well replicated the ribbons that we get from the sea.
It's rich and fatty, yet acidic and balanced. There's fragrance to it. It's not just, oh, it's just salty. There's the fragrance of the spices. Even the chicken, you can taste the flavor of the chicken. It's so deeply chickeny.
Yeah, this is literally just the definition of balance. Like everything came together in harmony and it's better than a lot of, sorry guys, but a lot of the shawarma that I see people try to put on seafood and whatnot. This is incredible. But I'm still gonna put an asterisk on it, right? It's shawarma at home. But we're seeing a lot of people these days call just about anything shawarma, and I gotta talk my for a second. If you're not, putting that love and craft into it, setting up that sea, compressing it, getting your knife real sharp, cutting it ultra thin, knowing how to properly sear it, I'm afraid we shouldn't call that shawarma. You can call it whatever you want. I'm just telling you what the folks back home are gonna tell you. Shawarma is not just a food, it's art, it's craft, it's technique.
And it all boils down to doing things the right way. It's not a secret.
Keep it Mia Mia.
Keep it Mia Mia, but also do the damn technique correctly.
A big thank you to the Mia Mia homies. They were so kind. Even Yaz's mom made us some fresh homemade knafe, and it was incredible. And if you want to see that recipe, let us know in the comments.
Love ya, subscribe.
Love y'all.
Bye.